Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best Damn EDC, and today I've got another video for you, and this time we're talking about this knife right here on the table. I have two of the three versions of this knife. It is the Summit Knife Company Half Dome. Summit Knife Company is a new knife company out of Georgia. They're doing interesting things, and this knife right here is definitely interesting. I mean, look at that. It's going to take you by surprise. The design is different. You've not seen anything quite like this knife before, so with that said, let's do the damn thing. So here we are with the Summit Knife Company Half Dome. And this knife, when I first saw it, I was on board and then I wasn't, and then I was on board and then I wasn't. And I was so confused by this knife because I've not really seen anything like it. Like, you can look at this knife and you can tell where some of the inspiration was drawn from. There are literally some of the exact same parts on this knife that you've seen on other knives on this channel, but it's different. I mean, look at this. Tell me one other knife that I've featured or you've had or held or seen that looks quite like this. You don't see many reverse tantos. This one is a reverse tanto, but it's got a big belly too. So it doesn't have that Benchmade 940 look to it. It looks weird and different, but it is highly utilitarian. And it's not really until you get this knife in your hand that you begin to understand that. So the Suru from Fox Knives, designed by Jesper Voxnes, who is one of my favorite knife designers, they have a lot of similarities. Their size, their shape, it's very, very similar. And this is one of the most ergonomic knives I've ever held. The same goes for another one of Jesper's knives, which is the Polar. I've talked about the Polar a lot. Really great ergonomics, but I would say that the Half Dome rivals that. Once you get it in the hand, you really begin to understand why this knife is such a great utilitarian EDC knife. It doesn't have that choil, but the ergos on this knife are still really, really good. But before we go down that path any further, let's talk about this knife in and of itself. The overall length on this knife is 6 inches. The blade length is 2.375 inches, so it's a very small blade. Legal in a lot of places, but it is a titanium frame lock. Your blade width is 1.125 inches, and then your blade stock is actually fairly thick for this blade. It's 0.14 inches, a little thinner, just a little thinner than the Suru. That blade is also a reverse tanto, like I said, but it is made with Bowler M390 steel, and this knife comes in a couple of different versions. This is the micarta version. You have a titanium version, and then there's also a black G10 version. The weight, depending on which one you get, will differ. The micarta and G10 are a little lighter. They're 2.47 ounces, and then the titanium is 3.17 ounces. So just a little bit heavier on the all titanium version, which is to be expected. Your handle length is 3.625 inches, and then there are some differences when it comes to the micarta and G10 versus the titanium. The biggest of which is that on your G10 and your micarta versions, and ignore this clip for now, your clip is reversible, so you can have a clip on either side. They're all tip-up carry. It doesn't matter which one you get, they're all tip-up carry, but you can choose between left and right-handed carry on the G10 and micarta versions. And the reason I said ignore this clip is because this is an aftermarket clip, and I forgot the wire clip at home. So the G10 and micarta versions of this knife come with a wire clip, and it is deep carry. It's a very deep carry clip, but the retention on that clip, I had some problems with it. So I said that I dropped this knife several times. You can see a mark on top of the blade in a couple of places. And that's because I sent this knife flying. I don't mean like I dropped it. I picked up my backpack out of my truck, and the strap on the backpack caught the wire clip and launched the knife in the air on the asphalt. So it's at least sturdy. I didn't have any issues after that, but I was at Blade Show with Rip's Garage Tech, who makes aftermarket clips and scales for knives. He saw the wire clip. We were in the pit, and he saw it, and he's like, "Hey, you need to upgrade that clip." He didn't even know what knife it was. He thought it was a Spyderco Techno, and it turns out that this has a very, very similar clip to the Spyderco Techno. So the wire clip on this is very similar. The slots are very, very close, but I will say I had to really pressure fit this clip. It doesn't quite fit, but you can make a Spyderco Techno clip fit this knife. You're just going to have to press, tighten. I used a piece of wood, and I actually put the piece of wood on top of this and pressed as hard as I could, and maybe hammered it a little bit with the wood. Getting the clip off is another story. I don't know if I can. it's on there pretty good. But when you go over to the titanium version of this knife, you have one, not a deep carry clip, but it is the exact same clip that comes on some versions of the Fox Knives Tsuru. So this is manufactured, as you can see, by Fox Knives. And because of that, on the all titanium version, you have the exact same clip that is on some special versions of the Fox Knives Tsuru. So this is not your typical Tsuru. This is the Urban EDC Supply exclusive that I did a video on. And this one has that zirconium ball titanium clip. It's a milled titanium clip. This one has the exact same one, but you have matching blue hardware on all of it as well. So you have silver hardware and a wire clip on these versions, and all blue anodized titanium hardware and a titanium clip with a zirconium ball on the titanium knife. But you have the exact same clip, the exact same pivot screws, the same lock bar hardware. You have all the same stuff. And that's because it's done in-house by Fox Knives. The other main difference between your micarta and your titanium version of this knife is price. So the micarta and G10 version, those are $175, and the all titanium version is $225. And to be completely honest, these are really great values for what you're getting. You're getting a really great small ergonomic knife with a very great blade, M390 steel, titanium lock bar, like a titanium frame lock knife for $175 or $225. I think $175 for the micarta is the one I would go for. Problem really with this one that I have is that that clip is not deep carry. I wasn't a huge fan of the clip on this one, so it's just not my favorite clip. The zirconium ball has okay retention, but it's not super deep carry and it's angled funny. But just to give you some size comparisons, I have a few similarly sized knives. Of course, the Tsuru, because I've been talking about it the whole time. I have the CRKT Polar, the customized one. I have a Sheepdog Mini from Kaiser. That is the Vanguard version. And a small Sabenza, just because it needs to be in there just to give you a size reference for a slightly larger knife. And for the heck of it, I also have the Benchmade Bug Out. Honestly, when it comes down to it, this knife, when I did the $50 budget challenge, this knife right here was the one I missed pretty much the most. So I wanted to carry all of my new knives, but of the knives I had been carrying, this knife right here was the one I missed the most. It was a user. I used it a lot. The only real problem I had trying to use this knife, truly use it, was I was actually out clearing some land at my grandma's place and I had gloves on and I struggled to get this knife open. And I ended up using the Mini Crooked River. I brought it just in case I needed a knife and this one didn't work out. But I went to really go use this and cut down little saplings and just use the crap out of this knife that day. And I really couldn't get it open easily with gloves on. That was mainly the only problem I've had with this knife. I like this knife a lot. I think for $175, great value. Fox Knives does a fantastic job. The jimping and the ergonomics on this knife are really solid. And I think the biggest problem with people is going to be that lack of a tip. This is one I want to keep in my collection, but given that, I also have one to give away. This one. So the titanium one I'm giving away. And if you want to learn how to win this very knife, go check out the post I have on Instagram. We'll have all the details on how you can win this knife. Obviously, you have to be over 18. I'm going to keep this one to US only because it just gets a little muddy trying to ship knives and different things to different countries. So US only, over 18. The rest of the details will be over in the Instagram post. It will also be linked down below. But there you have it. That is the Summit Knife Company Half Dome. I'm a huge fan of this knife. And I know it's kind of one of those love or hate things. I love it, frankly. So there you go. That is going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future, and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. And if you're interested in Summit Knife Company or the Half Dome knife, be sure to hit those links down below. If you purchase anything using those links, they are affiliate links, so I will get a little bit of a kickback. It's just a way for you to show support for the show while also getting the gear you want, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Also, you can go to carry.best to support me there by buying gear directly from me, like this shirt right here, or you can go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc. And be sure to follow us around the web. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at bestdamnedc. You can find me, Taylor Martin, on Twitter and Instagram at CasperTech. And this guy behind the camera right here, you can find him at Jaben Starnes. So with all of that said, and until next time, carry on.